there.
As you look from turn 1 up the longest straightaway in all of NASCAR racing.
Yeah, Mike, you know what's going to happen here is they're all going to get out there. They know the track's not totally dry yet, but as we all know, these headers on the race cars, as you see underneath Rusty's car right there, they're going to put out a lot of heat, and they're going to start getting some of those wet areas really dry a lot quicker than if we just sat here a little bit longer. And a lot quicker than the trucks by themselves would dry them. These big, wide steamroller tires and the heat from the exhaust and from the exhaust pipes. We'll get the track in a raceable condition pretty quickly, and this is the first time the cars have been on the track since practice yesterday morning.
Well, Mike, we have two things. The racetrack might get dry, but pit road will stay wet, so they really have to be careful when they do make your first pit stops coming down pit road on a wet racetrack like that. So the racetrack right now is getting gray places all over it where it's drying out, so we've got to get on with it pretty quick here.
And from the tower, we can clearly see turn 2, the tunnel turn, where about half an hour ago it was all lost in the mist, didn't exist. And here too, the pit road is the widest in the business, and the pit stalls, if you saw our show yesterday, we talked about those. There's a lot of they're the longest because the pit road is so long. The stalls themselves are, so getting in and out of the pit shouldn't be much of a problem.
You know, one thing about this racetrack that everybody talks about, and Buddy was telling me earlier, that you know, the elevation is really high here, so it's really hard to get rid of that overcast or, you know, any dew that's falling because we're so high. And we're up here in the Pocono Mountains. I mean, there's been deer on the track earlier this morning, so it's hard to get rid of this weather. You know, we're going around 1, 2 o'clock right now, and it's finally burning off. So Pocono is probably one of the most difficult race tracks to get, you know, everything burned off and get going so we can race.
We talked about new drivers here. When you first came here, what was your impression of learning to get around this place?
Well, it's a really difficult track. You know, if you're a first-time driver, you really need to come here and test because this is one of the most difficult tracks. It can be a really fun racetrack to drive, but there's a lot of curves thrown in there. You know, we got the overdrive where we're shifting, going down the front straightaway. You're shifting back into third. Driver here is like, it's like Darlington. You get better every time you run here, and it's a difficult place. I look forward to some of the rookies running better halfway through the race.
Here's what will happen. NASCAR has fired the engines, and they will send the cars out to get a little heat in the cars, in the tires, and into the racetrack to dry the track. And I don't know if they've made a decision as to whether they'll send them green, yellow, or whether these laps simply will not count, which is what we're led to believe. If that's the case, before they line up to go green, they'll come in, everybody will top off the fuel tanks, and we'll be set to go racing. So we may have a few non-counting laps here just to get things going.
I was thinking the funniest thing, the first time I ever come to this racetrack, I guess it was the first Winston Cup race here. I sat on the pole, and they said, "How'd you do it?" And I said, "I don't have a clue. I lost it when I come by the flag and got it back straight when they dropped the checker." But the car ran super good, but I did lose to the King that day by about half a straightaway here. He made a better pit stop right at the end and beat me. I was trying hard, though. I had grass flying, smoke flying, but to no avail.
Just like a road course.
You know, you're looking inside these drivers' faces right now. You know, I know exactly what they're thinking. The anxiety's been built up. You do get into a mode. You know, you come to the racetrack, you know, race morning. You know, you get up early in the morning and you're ready to race, and then you get this curveball thrown to you. So then you got to rethink your thought. And right now you've seen Earnhardt and Jimmy Hensley. They're ready to go racing, and they're getting focused.
Cars are rolling here at Pocono. Here is your Sears Die Hard starting grid for today's 500. On the pole, Rusty Wallace, second of the year, 17th of his career. Outside pole, Ricky Rudd, his first front row start of the season with his own team. Row number 2, Mark Martin, sixth time this year he started third or better. Outside row number 2, Jeff Gordon, recent winner of the Coke 600 at Charlotte. Row number 3, Kenny Schrader finished second here 1 year ago. And outside in sixth position, Brett Bodine, the sixth time this year he started in the top 10. Row number 4 to the inside is Ernie Irvan, who has a 163-point Winston Cup lead. And outside, great qualifying effort for Dick Trickle, his first top 10 start this year. Row number 5, Ted Musgrave has a pair of fifth-place finishes at Pocono. And starting 10th, Michael Waltrip ran second here in 1988, his best career finish. 11th, rookie Joe Nemechek. Third straight race he started in the first 6 rows. And in 12th, Darrell Waltrip, a 4-time winner here at Pocono. Row number 7, Wally Dallenbach finished in the top 10 last week at Dover. And outside, 14th, Kyle Petty, defending champion of the UAW-GM 500. Row number 8, Terry Labonte, won here in 1989. And 16th, Bill Elliott, a 4-time winner at Pocono. In the 9th row, Jimmy Hensley, his second best start of the 94 season. He'll roll off 17th. Next to Sterling Marlin, the Daytona 500 winner, 10th in the point standings. And row 10, Dale Earnhardt, who won here last July. And 20th, Greg Sachs, who finished 7th here in 1990. Only one round of qualifying. Second round rained out, so everybody stood on their first round times. It put John Andretti, who's been in 3 IndyCar races here, and Dale Jarrett in row number 11. In row 12, Hut Strickland, who was 9th last week at Dover, and Harry Gant, who won here in 84 and 90. Row 13, Ward Burton makes his 9th career start, and Morgan Shepherd has 3 top 5s here. Row 14, Bobby Labonte, who finished 6th at Bristol, and Todd Bodine, a rookie. Row number 15, Jimmy Spencer, 4th here last year, and Jeff Bodine, a 2-time Pocono winner. Row number 16, Loy Allen, finished in the top 15 his last 2 starts, and Bobby Hamilton makes his 6th start here. Row 17, Lake Speed, 7th in the points, and Dave Marcus, his 31st race at Pocono. Jeff Burton, the rookie point leader, and Derek Cope, a former Daytona 500 winner. Then Steve Grissom had a strong run at Talladega, finishing 10th, and Mike Wallace, another rookie. In row number 20, Rick Mast, who is 3rd at Rockingham in the spring, and Rich Bickle makes his 5th start of the year for Harry Melling. And the provisional starters, Chuck Bown, his first race at Pocono since 1980, and ARCA champion Bob Keselowski makes his Winston Cup debut today. They're going to go 5 laps and then make a decision whether to start under green, yellow, or just what they will do here at Pocono as the cars are rolling, and we'll be right back. TNN Motorsports exclusive live coverage of the United Auto Workers General Motors Teamwork 500 is brought to you by Split Fire, the patented performance spark plug. It only costs more till you use it. By cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm. By Ford and your Ford truck dealer. Ford Trucks, the best never rest. And by Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. Add more life to your car. Welcome back to Pocono International Raceway. What'd you call it, buddy, out in front of the field?
That's E.T. Elmo truck.
Oh, Elmo Langley's the pace car driver. Excuse me, pace truck driver today. And there's big signs leading into Pennsylvania. It says the speed limit in Pennsylvania is still 55. Well, that's the pace truck speed today and the pit road speed today. But now they've increased. They said they're going to pace the field here for a few laps at 80 miles an hour to try to get the track fully dry so we can go racing. We're going to get down to pit road as the cars come around back along the front straightaway. Glenn Jarrett.
I never understand why you won't throw it to me when the car's on the backstretch, Mike. But anyway, a lot of activity going on down here. The crews are readying the pits, trying to dry them off as much as they can. But standing by with Billy Engel, the crew chief on Ricky Rudd's car, who's on the outside pole. And Billy, one thing you got to be concerned about, the last time that Ricky was in the car was when he qualified.
That's right, Glenn. Basically, we ran about 10 laps of practice, and 2 of those were during the qualifying times. We put a new engine in. We don't know what that's going to do. We guess at the amount of tape we need for cooling. We are pretty much guess at the setup, and we just go off the past experience we've had here and what the track would do, under the rain conditions and what it would do with the temperature conditions. So everything's a guess, but there's 40 other teams here that had to do the same thing.
Well, one quick question more, Billy. Is the qualifying setup that much different from the actual race setup? We hear people talk about that all the time.
Well, I have found working now with the Fords that it is a little bit. Like I say, we went back. We got just a little bit conservative. We unloaded pretty fast, so I feel good about that. We'll just see here in a little bit.
That they will. And now Randy is with Larry McReynolds.
Well, they're talking Ernie right now. Larry was just talking to him a second ago, asking him about the track conditions. They got blowers out on the pit road trying to dry pit road. That's one of the most dangerous points. Of course, pit road speed, that makes it nice that they come down at a nice slow pace. What did Ernie say about the track? Is it ready?
He said the corners is really pretty dry. I think they've really worked hard on the corners, but the straightaways, especially the long pond straight between 1 and 2, he said it's pretty wet. And as you said, pit road, which is the most dangerous situation, it's going to take a while for it to dry.
How about your car? You only had about 10 laps of practice. I know Ernie's ready. What about the car? Is it right?
Well, you know, we're just going to have to see. You know, we had to dwell a lot on past history. We didn't get to run the July Pocono races, you can well remember, so we had to go back all the way to a year ago. Had to use a lot of Ernie's past experience here, and we're running a little bit different chassis here than we run here before, and we've had to really dig deep into Loudon, New Hampshire notes and Phoenix, Arizona notes, and that's all we've done for the last 2 days is sift through notes.
Okay, I think if they got to make a guess at it, they'll be pretty close, guys.